In this video, we're going to focus on the Lone Druid versus OD matchup in the mid lane, and we're going to see how Qojqva's Lone Druid completely destroys Abed's OD in the mid lane. And from there, he snowballs and gets a quick victory with his team.
My holiness deepens.
So right at the start, he has this bear sitting here to see if OD is planting any wards. Additionally, he's also going to check and see whether the tower is going to shoot him. If the tower shoots him here, when he's in range but not in vision because of the trees, he knows that there's a ward here, and if the tower shoots him here, there's a ward somewhere here. And you can use this to see if there's anything to ward. But he sees that there's no wards in mid lane. And now he's going to block the lane and try to get a favorable equilibrium, which is quite important in this matchup, because it's all about last hitting at the start. Neither you nor the OD can really kill the enemy at the start. There's not much harass potential either. At the start, it's just about last hitting and out-denying your opponent. Right away, you can see both players getting really close to the creep wave, which allows them to more easily last hit. And of course, for the OD, his Astral Imprisonment level 1 has a very short range. Abed is now going to go and banish the Lone Druid and going to try to get these last hits. But as we see, Lone Druid is still doing fine, and here's another last hit. It's very important with Lone Druid is that you line up your bear and your druid to face the creep you're targeting before you fire your shots. You can see he's always going to line up both his hero and his bear so they face the direction the creep is where it's next going to die, and only then does he actually go for the last hit. And this way it's a lot more predictable where your shot's going to land. So last hitting with the bear and your hero is all about lining up the shot so that they both attacks occur at roughly the same time, that there's no time for a creeps or the enemy hero to get a hit in between those two attacks, and which might cost you the last hit. Because the bear and the druid at the start only have 40 damage on the druid and 20 on the bear. That's 60 damage total, which is fairly good. That's more than most heroes have base damage. But if you don't align these attacks perfectly, you're much worse at last hitting than most other heroes. So it's very important to get these good alignments. And one way you can do this is to just stand quite close with your hero and with your bear, and this is going to allow you to do a good last hit. And so if you're quite close and you line up properly to the creep, then both your attacks are going to land at roughly the same time. But if you're standing too far away from the creep, your hero attack is going to land later than your bear's. With this illusion, of course, he has a big advantage in last hitting and also in harassing, especially since he's playing against the ranged heroes, so this illusion still a lot of damage. Whereas against melee heroes, those don't do much damage because damage block. All the way Qojqva is playing this lane is really masterful. The only thing I would criticize is his item build. There's a distinct lack of any sort of branches on this Lone Druid. I think it's branches to such an efficient item, and you have so many slots available. I think you should always get a couple of branches in the early game. And another thing that's missing is an Orb of Venom. Orb of Venom is such an efficient item, and you have the slots for it, so I think you should almost always go for an Orb of Venom. If it's not a starting item, then as your first or second item. I would also like to see a stick purchased here, possibly a wand. So this OD is going to use quite a bit of spells. His Astral Imprisonment is a fairly spammy ability, so you definitely want to get those charges here. Racing for the rune right now, doesn't really matter too much who gets this because this gets cancelled anyway, but as it is, he can chase this OD down, and if he had the Venom here, he would possibly get a kill here, but as it is, he just does a lot of damage here, which is fine too. And the way he's going to win this lane is not through killing this OD. I mean, if you can kill him, it's nice, but the objective here is just to outfarm the enemy, and that is really what it's all about. And right now you can see he's very far ahead. He's at 24 last hits against 15 and 89 against 2, so he's really far ahead right now, and he's also up in levels. Now he has his phase boots complete, which allows him to more easily chase down this OD, and OD at this point doesn't really want to play this lane anymore. He's tried to get some help here from the Spirit Breaker, but honestly, Spirit Breaker can't do anything here. Even if they go in both, there's not much to be done here, especially because of Savage Rogue and also disengage. Right now, OD comes in here, does some denying, so he's back in the lane now, and he's gonna run with him with the bear and then go back. You don't want to dive too much in the tower here, just keep the enemy from farming. That's what you need. Of course, if you can chase down the enemy and get a kill, it's even better, but just keeping them from farming is enough. This isn't charging here, and the Spirit Breaker is level 3, it's not going to do much. So you can just calmly hit the Spirit Breaker or the OD as the case may be, and just stay in this lane and keep last hitting. And he's just going to want to push in this lane because he's a siege group here. So this will force the enemy to deal with this lane, and if they don't, he can go and take the tower, at least do some damage to the tower. Otherwise, he can go and make a jungle camp in the meantime. But right now, he's doing a lot of damage to this tower, and he of course also has this Blightstone, which is also going to help do some extra damage on that tower. And now they're chasing down this OD. Unfortunately, no Overvenom, but still, thanks to this Lucky Root here, they do get the kill. And Tiger also survives. So now that he's won this lane, the goal now is just to farm this lane for a little bit more and eventually take down this tower. So you just push in this wave, and then you can either go to a jungle camp or hit the enemy tower. It depends on how much reason you have on the map. If everyone is missing and you don't know where they are and they could be dangerous to you, then it's better not to hit the tower. But in a lot of situations, you can just hit the tower and you're fairly safe here because you have Savage Roar, which allows you enough time to get back to your own tower where your teammates can help you out with TPs if necessary. So right now hitting this tower is quite safe. He knows that Morphling is down here, Crystal Maiden is not much of a threat, Omni Knight is up here, and the only one who can really threaten him is Spirit Breaker. But Spirit Breaker, what is he going to do honestly with the Spirit Breaker? Spirit Breaker in OD at this stage of the game is not enough yet to kill this Lone Druid. So he doesn't have too much of a worry yet. As long as he has Savage Roar available, he's quite safe. Mask of Man is complete now, which allows him to do these Shaman camps a little bit quicker. And also, of course, it's going to help him actually hit this tower. So you see some of the people top here, there's a bunch of fight going on. There's not much of a chance to react here. And the OD comes here, tries to get this deny, but Qojqva barely manages to get this last hit, very important. Now that the tower is down, what do? Well, you can do some more jungle camps, but right now he's the strongest hero on the map. So really what he should be doing is rotating to one of the side lanes. And typically it's the off lane that's the more likely choice here. Fight breaking out in the off lane here, you want to go there anyway, so might as well TP here. And they try and go on this Morphling. Morphling of course can morph up here, and the bear unfortunately uses a trend a bit earlier, so it's late to the party here. But still, with this very strong Lone Druid and this Mask of Madness here, they managed to get a kill here. And now they can start and pressure this tower. One thing that Qojqva is not doing enough, in my opinion, is buying TPs on the bear. I think you should always have a TP here on the bear. Gets the tower here. With the tower gone now, normally you would go and do some jungle camps. But there's a big fight up here, which means that you can keep pushing this wave, because you see everyone up here. So this is fairly safe. You also have the catapult wave here, so you can do some damage here and at least force some TPs. They force Glyph here, and he has to retreat a little bit. And now he's just going to join this fight up top here after forcing this Glyph. And maybe they can get some kills here. Crystal Maiden goes down, and they're chasing for more. But this Morphling, of course, is not an easy target. In this game, Liquid are up against a very greedy lineup. Each year have this Morphling, which is a very greedy carry, and then Outworld Devourer, who's a fairly greedy mid laner. Meanwhile, on Liquid, they have this Lone Druid, who's kind of flexible. You can either play him as a very quick tempo kind of hero, or you can play him as more of a farming kind of hero. If you want to go for more the farming route, you can go for something like a Mjolnir as a first item. This way you can scale better into the mid and late game. But here they just want to hit this very quick timing together with this Leshrac carry. And All we have doing then is just to go and take this Roshan. He's got this Desolator finished, Mask of Madness is finished. This is the quickest, most aggressive way of playing Lone Druid as a mid laner. And they have this ladder here with his ultimate, of course. That's minus 10 armor. And they have this minus 7 armor from Desolator, meaning that this Roshan goes very quickly. And very importantly, he's tanking here with the bear, because the bear regions up thanks to his passive ability Spirit Link. So he can do this and get this very early Roshan. And of course, Leshrac is picking up the Aegis. Starlet's going in Morphling here, and he gets a nice stun here. And Roar coming out from Qojqva here manages to get the kill here on this Morphling. Very important, without this Roar you never get this kill. But as it is, they get a very nice kill on the enemy carry. And now you can see how far ahead Qojqva is. Like, he's so far ahead here of this OD. He's been very far away ahead of this OD for a very long time. Get another kill here, and now it's time to take out this tower. And now they can start hitting this tower here. So they've resummoned, very important. And going to try and get this Crystal Maiden kill, very easy kill. And they force the cliff here. And that means they have to back off a little bit here. They heal up the bear. And now they can go again here. So they have this Aegis. Still have this ultimate on the bear. But the ultimate is about to run out. And Leshrac is quite low. So they can just back off. Just because you're going high ground doesn't mean you have to go all the way and just suicide in there. No, I mean, the Morphling was back, the bear was low, so it made sense to back off and regroup here. We have Leshrac picking up a rune here, coming back in, and now they can go again. They hit this tower, take on the tower, and now they're 5 and 5, tower is gone. They can get on the kill here. Actually, very nice stun here from Leshrac. Gets the kill on Morphling. Morphling buybacks. See a nice ultimate from OD, of course, doing a lot of damage to Lone Druid because he's so stupid. It's a low int pool. That's a low mana pool. So now this fight is not doing too well for Liquid anymore, but EG are kind of overextending here. They get the Aegis here, but should be backing out right now, but they're not. And so they'll try to get this kill on Leshrac, but Leshrac is too tanky, and he saves himself thanks to his Yules, and they in fact get all these kills, but they're quite low on Leshrac, and they have no Lone Druid, so they can't really take those objectives, but they can still get a Crystal Maiden kill. And now they just back out. Leshrac picking up some bounty runes, and meanwhile Lone Druid TP down here, pick up the bounty rune here. Right now there's a little bit of a phase of farming here. We see Qojqva farming with his hero outside of vision. This is a very important technique when you don't know quite where the enemy are and you want to farm a little bit more safely. Just have your hero sit outside of vision but in an XP range and have your bear get the last hits. And now that he's seen a couple of people up here, he knows it's fairly safe to do this. He's just going to hit this with the bear, with his hero still being up here, providing extra vision and being a bit safer. So they don't really know whether the Lone Druid is up here or it might be somewhere here. They just know he's nearby. And this just allows them to be a bit more safe here with hitting this tower. And next item he's going to go for is a Basher. Of course, a very reasonable item. Personally, I would like to see something with a bit more attack speed right now, because the only attack speed item you have is Mask of Madness. But Basher, of course, is quite strong for the disable against a hero like Morphling, who, of course, is very vulnerable to any sort of control. And right now, they don't have that much control in this lineup. Just very safely hitting this Rax here, and of course this bear with Mask of Madness, and there's so much building damage. This is really accentuating the strength of Lone Druid. Already good at doing building damage, and this build just takes that through the roof, which is why this build is so strong at exploiting this mid-game timing that Lone Druid has, and just out-tempoing the opponent. They go for this main Rex here, and simultaneously also going for this Morphling, and when your team does these sort of things, they go on these heroes behind the Raxes. Usually as Lone Druid, the best thing you can do is just hit those buildings. That is your most important job. You're the building damage provider here, especially if you went for this sort of build. I guess no huge rush here. They've taken this first line of Rax in under 20 minutes. But of course, if AG sort of leaves the base, they can take this fight, go for this OD. This time the ultimate is not enough. And Morphling is now also in deep trouble. And down he goes. And with him also die the hopes of EG, because this was a dieback. They already used his buyback earlier. And so now Liquid can easily finish out this game and take a victory here against EG. So key takeaways from this game: line up your last hits, have the bear and the druid face the creep you want to last hit before you actually release the attacks, and have the bear stand quite close to the creep you're last hitting if you can, if it's safe, so that way the attacks will align and you will get a lot more last hits that way. At the beginning, try to focus on last hits, not so much on harassing, and then when you have a bit of an advantage and you have a couple of levels in your bear, so you have longer entangle times, can you really go and pressure the enemy and possibly get a kill? And then it's just all about taking this mid tower, maybe doing some jungle camps in there, and then rotating to one of the side lanes and pushing down that lane. Usually it's going to be the off lane, and especially if you go for this Desolator build, you have a lot of early game and early mid game fighting power, so use that, abuse your early timings and hit the enemy before they are ready. If you want to know more about last hitting with Lone Druid and various other tricks, I'm preparing a micro guide for Lone Druid similar to the one I've done for Chen. If you don't want to miss that, please subscribe to this channel and ring the bell. And in the meantime, I'll leave you with these other great Lone Druid games, and Obel is willing, I'll see you there.